Hey everybody, Edo here, and for this week's League video, I want to talk about Kickstarter cancellations. Now, if you haven't run a Kickstarter yet, one of the things you'll find out when you do run a Kickstarter is lots and lots of people cancel. More and more each year cancel. And I think it's really important for a Kickstarter creator to be prepared mentally for this and have a few strategies to understand it. But for the most part, there isn't a whole lot you can do. And that's part of sort of mentally preparing yourself. So when you're a Kickstarter creator, and I think this happens more with more expensive campaigns that hold up more money, 49, 59, 70, the more money somebody has in, the more likely they are to cancel to some degree, I believe. And two, if you're funded or you're a regular Kickstarter creator who's done a number of campaigns, I think you see a higher proportion of Kickstarter cancellations than perhaps if you're a one-time first run Kickstarter that's really like trying to break in. I could be mistaken, but I think in that first category, more people are really backing the creator and getting that person started in the game. I don't have any data to back that up. But, so, look, as a creator, you're going to have a few types of backers. First backer type is your family. The chances of your family canceling on you should hopefully be zero. Then you're going to have your friends and family, or not your family, but your friends, like people you know directly who you've been talking to about the game or play tested. Those people as well probably won't cancel on you. But after that small set of people, 10%, 20% of your campaign, maybe depending on how big you are and how new you are, everyone else is susceptible to cancellation. And people cancel for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they cancel because you've done something on the campaign and they didn't like it, or they've learned more information, or like backed and then watched a few more videos and actually bona fide are withdrawing their money because of something you did or because of something they learned about the game. Honestly, I strongly believe that's a minority of people. Like if it's been discovered that you're a criminal or some big viral event happens and there's a big brouhaha on your page, okay, fine. But just generally speaking, I think most people aren't going in and then pulling out for that reason. Proportionally, absolutely people do that. And that's why, it's important to make sure all of the material on your page and everything you're going on about the game is consistent and well and put together well so that people have a consistent message on the gameplay and the quality. If they see a lot of different information or getting different vibes from the game, sometimes people will back out if they're not confident. You want to maintain confidence, okay? So that's sort of category one, small. Category two is that person has had some sort of financial catastrophe or suddenly finds themselves unable to back. Sometimes it's their partner has discovered their Kickstarter habit. Sometimes somebody in their family gets sick. Sometimes their car breaks down. You absolutely see some of those people that cancel for those reasons, who legitimately want your game or interested in the game, but for one reason or another. Oftentimes those people will not cancel, but will reduce to 1. So if you see somebody go from 49 to 1, sometimes that's what happens. But rarely, I think that's still a minority. I think you can take those two groups and put them in a small bucket. The biggest, largest group stems from the fact that each and every day there are countless new Kickstarters of varying sizes and degrees, and fundamentally it's impossible for somebody to afford all of those Kickstarters. Yes, perhaps there are a couple people who can afford that, but your general backer simply can't back the 300 Kickstarter games that come out in the window of your Kickstarter game. So suddenly, it's really this buyer's decision on, do they want to back yours or back something else? A lot of people get upset about this, but frankly, it's not as if that buyer knows what's coming. If I'm buying from a store, I look in a store, I see everything that's available, I make my purchasing decision, and then leave with the object. On a Kickstarter, one, you're holding my money for 30 days or 20 days or some period of time, but two, I don't know what's coming out on Kickstarter. That's opaque to most people. Most people only know about the next Kickstarter, maybe some pre-campaign a week before, maybe 2 weeks before. Bigger groups do more, but generally speaking, Kickstarters are being advertised and pushed right before the campaign. So as a backer who, say, backed Legendary Creatures, I might not know that Star Realms is about to drop, or I might not know that the next Cool Mini or not Fire and Ice, whatever the name, Fire and Song of Fire and Ice, like Throne. What is it? Game of Thrones. I've blocked it out of my memory. I lost so many people to that game. The Game of Thrones. Or the next Bones campaign. Like, they don't know. And everybody wants their money, right? Like, everybody's doing their best to advertise and drive that person to give them their money. So, just fundamentally, maybe I can spend $50 a month on Kickstarter, $100 a month on Kickstarter, $200? That seems like a lot to me. I don't think the average person can spend $200 a month on games. Like, perhaps. But so you're very quickly going to be up against that, especially international folks who are backing and have to pay shipping costs. The dollar amounts are large, and they need to start picking. So cancellations are real, like really real. Like Legendary Creatures had almost 200 cancellations. We had about 750 backers out of 950 backers at some point. That's crazy, right? That is almost $10,000, perhaps not up and down, but it is a lot of money. Now, fortunately for the campaign, we were bringing on enough people that as those cancellations came, it sort of grew. But it can be really hard as a creator to see, you hit a stretch goal and you fall underneath, and you hit a stretch goal and you fall underneath. I spoke to some other Kickstarter campaigns who had successful campaigns. I thought I had a lot. They had 500, 600, 700 cancellations. That's crazy. That's just how many campaigns that are out there and how many people are grabbing you and grabbing people's attention. So, mostly I just want you to know that. You just need to be prepared. People are going to be going to other games. So let's go into some concrete advice. 1, there's a lot of conversation about consistency of the information on your campaign and how you treat your backers and being part of a campaign and regularly in it is important. If people are engaged, you're doing stretch goals, you're participating with the community, you're not getting in flame-out wars on your comment section, all of those things, you don't want to produce reasons for people to leave. So that's sort of one area as a creator you need to be aware of. It's like, it's a fickle group, they've got 100 other options. It's like taco trucks. It's like a line of trucks. And if they come up or standing in front of your truck and you don't respond for, some amount of time, they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to the next truck. There's another tile laying game with a panda theme. I don't need your tile laying game with a panda theme, right? So how you treat your backers is really important. 2, the way that you sort of compartmentalize cancellations is really important. This is just emotionally, right? It's going to happen. You need to know, and you just need to focus. The best way to deal with cancellations is to just continue to get more backers and continue to push through and get more backers. Some people always ask, well, what should I do if, should I email or message people who have canceled? That's a good question. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like Kickstarter has changed something because it used to be you could actually reach out to somebody who canceled you through the project. But as far as I can tell, you can't do that anymore. And I did that on Liftoff on my first campaign, and there was nowhere near as many. And, you'd either not hear back or you'd get the emotional story, and you sort of feel like you're prying into people's lives. I feel like if you did something and somebody wants to tell you something, they will. One of the reasons I like to generally reach out to people is so that they have an opportunity to give me feedback on my campaign, and sometimes I'll get feedback from those people or from somebody who's $1 and say, well, I reduced my pledge for this reason. But I think I would not eyeball the adjusted column or eyeball the cancellation column. You really just got to block it out and just drive ahead. Again, it's about trying to keep an active and great campaign as well as not letting it get to you. Obviously, the more projects that are out there, that sort of come into the fray going through a busy time. You're going to see more cancellations. And, it's easy to try and correlate things to cancellations. I see creators do this all the time. It's sort of like, oh, I just did an update. Is it because of my update that these people canceled? Like, maybe I reminded them. Maybe I shouldn't do updates because I did an update once and somebody canceled right after I sent the update. Or I messaged a backer and then they canceled. Maybe they canceled because of the message. Or, I didn't, there was a little argument over stretch goals and then I got cancellations. The only thing that I've been able to consistently correlate things was a large number of cancellations at once within a small period of time, and then looking at something that's launched on Kickstarter. That game just launched. Okay. I really think the biggest driver on cancellations, honestly, is competition. And the best thing you can do with competition, you just got to compete. I really think that's it. I just want to do this video because people ask about cancellations. They get super nervous about cancellations. They get depressed. I get depressed. Emily's over there nodding her head because during the Legendary Creatures campaign, you'd have a day where you got a huge number of new backers, but it feels like this much because you got these cancellations because, again, Cool Mini are not launched. And he was like, But, we did well. We funded well. And the reality is those backers might have very much enjoyed your game, and it is a loss of dollars and people playing, but at the same time, I would rather people who really, really want the game, who want it despite the competition to get it, right? So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just a high volume thing, and during a very emotional Kickstarter period, it can be tough. So anyway, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.